Hello everyone, welcome to Chemistry 3A. My name is Dr. MacArthur and I will be the teacher for your course this semester. I wanted to say a few things here by way of introduction in navigating through the introductory material for this course. That is mainly about how to use the online hybrid learning format that we'll be using this semester. I have been teaching this course as a hybrid course since before the pandemic, so it has been refined a few times. This video, of course, I'm recording live for you for this semester, but there's been several semesters of time to make some changes to this and continue to make changes as we go forward. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to go through this first module with you together in this video. Introduction to Online Learning. You'll want to complete this module before our first day of class. And I'm just going to tell you what to expect as you look through here. So the first thing you'll see is the Welcome to the Course page. This has some information related to using Canvas and other resources such as DSPS that might be helpful to some of you, as well as my contact information. Of course, if you're having trouble with Canvas, and this video is on Canvas, that might be a challenge. However, this will be something that if you are having difficulty getting here, I can email this video to you so you'll have access to that. Obviously, this video here is not the same when you're watching, so this will be updated. This would have been from a previous semester. At the bottom of the page, you'll notice this Next button. So if you are going through Canvas, if you continue to just click that Next button, you'll go on to whatever is the next material in that module or onto the next module if you complete the module. This is a Q&A forum for any questions you have related to kind of how an online class, how this specific online class is working. So don't ask the content questions here. There'll be additional places for that. But if you're not sure how to go about doing something with Canvas or something with your homework, etc., this is a good place to ask those sorts of questions. Next is the syllabus. Very important document. We'll talk a little bit about this during the first in-person lab day. However, please read it on your own. So the syllabus is very important. You'll be getting one for each of your classes, and it's essentially a contract with the instructor in terms of what you'll be doing and how you'll be learning in a given semester. And then likewise, the schedule is going to show you what we'll be doing. So the online portion is here, what you'll need to do online, and then what we'll be doing when we meet in person in the lab. So you can look at that to get an idea of what you'll be doing. The course communication policy, this is part of, a lot of this information is in the syllabus, and it's basically what I would expect from you in terms of staying engaged in the online portion of the course. You can read through this just in brief. If you do need to be away from the course for a while, if you let me know that, then I am aware and I know to expect you to come back. If you don't do anything, then I will assume that you are not wanting to come back. Here we're looking at ways to interact via the discussion boards. There will be discussion boards each week that you should be participating in for each of the modules. That is part of your grade, and it's in a way that I can tell if you're engaging in the material for the course. So I'm not going to read through all of the possibilities here, but essentially I want to give you lots of options, and you can get extra credit on this. So if you do a lot of, not that you want to be spamming the discussion board, but if you're responding to people's questions, that's a good way of showing that you are engaged and you're willing to interact with the other students, and you can get a bit of extra credit for doing that. So we often have a discussion a few weeks into the semester in terms of making sure people are aware of how it's working and what things people might want to see added to possible things here. So please feel free to think of that as you're doing this, and we will have that discussion about week 3 or 4. There is a quiz here. It's worth 3 points, and it's basically over everything that we've covered so far. So go through those and just take the quiz. You are able to, I believe, look at your answers before you submit them. So it's not a high stakes quiz, but it's just a way of motivating you to make sure you're aware of what you need to do for the course for this first module. The student schedules, I guess I have this locked. So let me go ahead and leave the student view. So this will look a little bit different than what yours does. But this is an assignment that I'm having you do to basically have a bit of accountability for yourself in terms of setting aside time to do this, do what you need to for this course outside of the time we're meeting together. So you need to figure out some time that this is your time for chemistry every week. So what times are you spending on that in your week? If you don't set it aside that time, it's easy to vanish. I know we're all very busy people, and I don't want you to fall behind in the course because you're not having the time to put into it. So set aside some time on the schedule. You'll get graded for doing this. This is a graded assignment. And I'm not going to come to your house and check that you're doing at those times, but it's more for your own accountability in terms of having that set aside for yourself. And then I would like you to introduce yourself a little bit. So this is your introduction to the rest of the class, myself, other students, and just say a little bit about who you are, what things about you would like other people in the class to know, and a good place to start meeting each other before you meet each other in person. We will be doing some online homework, and the link for that is over here. And there'll be a homework assignment for each module, so make sure you are aware of that. We're not, for module 1, we're just doing some kind of getting used to the online learning, so there's not a homework for that. But beginning in module 2, there will be homework that will be due usually after we have completed the lab activity. So there's a bit of time to to ask questions when we're in lab, if that would be helpful for you. And then if you have questions specific to the online homework, this is a place where you can ask those questions. I have included here the kind of the front material in the lab manual. You don't have to do anything with this necessarily, but it does have some of basically the credits for the labs that we're doing this semester. So I did want to include that. In the past, we have had the lab manual available for purchase at the bookstore. So because we're providing all of the lab activities online, I did want to show the credit for those activities as well. This is a math proficiency quiz. This quiz does not affect your grade in the class, but it is really important to take it and to basically try your best at it. This is giving you some information and me some information about your math background coming into the class. You can still do well in the class. You can still be successful regardless of your score on this quiz. However, you might have to put in more work if you have a bit of a lower score. So you want to know that coming in. You want to know that on day one, if you are ready for that. So a little bit about what your results mean. So some of you may be wanting to take a chemistry 1A class and think you're not quite ready for it. If you score a 16 or higher on this quiz, then you actually probably are ready, and we can talk about moving to that class if that's something you would like to do. If you get lower than a 12, you might want to think about postponing and taking another class instead, and taking chemistry 3A later. We sometimes offer a chemistry 10 class, or you could take whatever additional math classes you need to take to make sure that you're ready to do well in the class. Again, does not mean that you are going to fail the class if you get below a 12. I've had students be very successful and go on to actually take organic chemistry who had a lower score than that. I've also had students that have done very well on this quiz that have not done well in the class. It's more a matter of how much effort you're going to have to put in. So if you do score a bit lower, you know that time outside of class is going to be a bit more than if you have a higher score. And then I want to talk a little bit about student introductions. So we already had the introduction discussion board. This is a little bit of a different thing. This is information you're providing just to me, not to the rest of the class. So if there's anything else you want me to know that you don't want the class, other students in the class to know, this is the place to do that on this student information sheet. I'll be using this information to put you into lab groups. So think about what kind of a person you want to be in a lab group with, and talk about yourself in ways that will help me make the choice that's best for you. So that's what this is for. I want to actually go ahead and open it. I wanted to say a few things about this. This is not a graded activity. If you don't do this, then you might get in the same group with the other people who didn't do it. So it's up to you how much you want to put into this. So everything on here is to help decide who to group you with. I wanted to say a few things here. If you do know other people already from outside of this class, and you liked working with them, you'd like to work with them again, you can put their names down there. Don't do this if you don't know the person, obviously. And I'll kind of look to see if you're both doing that before I know that that's something that you would both like to have done. I did have a question here about how you feel, how comfortable you feel with working with people who might not be wearing masks. Now, of course, to start the semester, we'll all be wearing a mask because of the district policy. However, hopefully we're able to get back to a safe spot where maybe before the semester is over, we are able to not wear masks. And this question is about, well, when we start, we're all going to wear a mask. But when that goes away, are you going to be with a person who has the same comfort level that you do related to that? So if you have, for example, young children who are not able to be vaccinated and you want to protect them, maybe you would choose to only be with people that would continue to wear masks after that point. If that's not your situation, you obviously would pick something else. But that's kind of what I had in mind for that question, so feel free to answer that with whatever you feel is the most represents your situation. And I think that's about it. Yeah, that is it for the first module. This is the start of module 2. You can get started on this during the first week. In fact, I would highly encourage you to get started into module 2, not before we meet in person, but before the end of the first week, because there's a lot of stuff in this module, and the sooner you get started on it, the better prepared you will be. So that's it for now. I look forward to meeting you all in person when we have our first day of lab.